Hello and welcome to our first edition of the newsletter for Term 3. Can you believe we're actually in Term 3? There's one more term after this and then the year is finished. So welcome. Now, as we experience another week of lockdown and remote learning, I want to acknowledge the efforts, the fantastic efforts of everyone in our community, including our students for their wonderful submissions on a daily basis on the Seesaw platform with our primary students and also on the Canvas platform with our secondary students. Well done to the students. I also want to acknowledge the efforts of our staff. Our staff are working tirelessly to be creative and to adapt their learning and teaching so that the learning can continue to be engaging for our students. So a big round of applause to our staff. But I guess the most applause goes to you as parents. Now, I can only imagine that many of you are working from home during this pandemic, during the lockdown period, and you have your own jobs to get on with. But on the side, you also helping your children or your child engage with the learning at the school level. So I can imagine as a parent, it would be very, very, very trying and challenging for you during this period. I know that from my own experiences here at school each day, I can spend 4 to 5 hours straight looking into a screen, busy with meetings, whether it be via the Zoom platform or Google Meet or even Microsoft Teams, meeting after meeting after meeting. And I can go home each day physically and mentally fatigued. Now, I know that I don't have little kids I'm trying to support with learning in my job. So I can only imagine the pressure that you're under as parents. Okay? Now, I know that I deal with that pressure when I get home. My wife, who also works from home as well, as soon as I get home, she says, right, come on, let's go for a big walk. And when we have more time, we exercise on the weekends. And that, for me, is my release from the daily pressures of my work. So I recommend it to you. Often when I'm walking, I see people riding bikes in family groups. How wonderful is that? People running, okay? I strongly recommend that you get to a point in your day where you close that laptop, walk away from the screens, and devote some time to yourselves. That's how I'm dealing with the pandemic and the lockdown. I guess I also take solace from a message one of my staff put up on the Facebook page, okay? And this message, I think about it every single day. The message reads, when you replace why is this happening to me with what is this trying to teach me, right? Why is this happening to me? Replace that with what is the message that is trying to be taught during this lockdown and pandemic. It really does cause you to think differently about these challenging times that we are going through. As a leader of a Catholic community, I know that this is a time of great challenge for our community. And let's not stop learning from the lessons from these challenges. And don't forget, we are constantly praying for you. Now, I want to talk about remote learning because recently we've made a significant change to our remote learning. We've made the change we're trialing a program called Wellbeing Wednesday. It's only a trial and we'll review it in a fortnight, okay? Now, the idea of Wellbeing Wednesday came from you. We we asked you to complete a survey, and we asked our staff to complete a survey as well. And the data from the survey was telling us that students were finding it very difficult to manage daily submissions of tasks. And parents were getting the emails and getting the cranks with their kids in the school, and teachers were spending an inordinate amount of time giving feedback to the kids on their submissions. So we needed a circuit breaker. And the circuit breaker was that we came up with this idea of Wellbeing Wednesday as being a day of consolidation. Now, it's not a day off from school, right? And I want to make that very clear. It is not a day off from school for teachers and students. In fact, it's a day in which we can consolidate. Teachers can have a day to contact parents, to contact students, help students. I know our diversity team, they don't get a break on Wellbeing Wednesdays because they run Zooms for anyone who needs help. But it's a day where we don't have lessons per se, but the teachers are contactable via email, via Zooms, via phone messages as well. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear, because I know that some parents are saying, well, you know, why are we cutting the school week down to 4 days instead of 5? I want to share with you that some of our students don't have that luxury of having 4 days, because students in year 10 who have commenced early commencement with some subjects like business services, and those doing the accelerated maths program and science program, they still attend lessons on Wellbeing Wednesday. So it's not all of the school, but it's a vast majority of the school where we use this as a day of consolidation. Okay? So, and don't forget, it is a trial, and I'll be in contact with you as to whether we extend it for the duration of the lockdown period. Now, can I give you another update on the school construction site? As you know, I wrote to you last week, and I shared with you the plans going forward. Unfortunately, we had to change those plans. Initially, I said to you that the first week of the new term, we'd use those 4 days, the 5th to the, I think it was the 9th, and give the kids an extra week's holidays. I've had to cancel that. And I wrote to you last week and confirmed that cancellation. The paper wasn't even, you know, the letter wasn't even with you for a day, and the government then changed their plans, announcing that construction workers would be allowed to be back on site as of Wednesday. And that has been a game changer for us. Now, I'm not in a position right now to let you know the revised dates, because obviously with construction workers going back to work, provided they're vaccinated, it does bring forward our handover date, okay? But I'm not in a position right now to let you know how far forward it's going to impact us. Okay. On the staffing front, I've been very busy. Every single day I'm interviewing teachers. And can I share with you, parents, that we've employed up to 30 teachers since the start of the term. 30 new teachers, because our enrollment now has surpassed 1,300 students. And we need teachers to teach all those students. So 30 new teachers. I anticipate that we'll have 100 staff in preparation for next year. I also shared with you the heads of schools positions for year 5 to 8. Gabriella Osterland has that role, and the head of school for year 9 to 12, Lisa Calisay, who's on staff, takes over that role. And tomorrow, I'll be releasing with you information on the new head of school for K-4. Okay, so that's from a staffing and a student enrollment perspective. Now, I want to finish with my spiritual message. On Sunday, we marked the solemnity of Saint Mary of the Cross MacKillop, who is the patron saint of Australia. It was her feast day. Now, in the liturgical calendar of the Catholic Church, a solemnity is a special feast day where it's to celebrate the feast day of people who are ranked very high up in the church. And the celebration is to celebrate the mystery of our faith, okay? To mark a special miracle that has been performed. And as you know, St. Mary of the Cross MacKillop, our first saint in Australia, is also the patron saint of our system, of the Catholic Education Diocese. And that's been the case since 2011, where we had a Silver Jubilee Mass of Thanksgiving at the St. Patrick's Cathedral. Now, I mention this because we ask St. Mary of the Cross MacKillop for her intercession, that during the lockdown period, that we may be strengthened by our efforts collectively to overcome the challenges of the pandemic, and that we ask St. Mary of the Cross MacKillop to pray for us and to give us strength in our endeavours to make our children, that we, your children and our students, people of wisdom through faith, hope and love.